when you introduce it, you introduce,
Okay.
hi, this is the Humour.
Welcome to the Humour and Madness show.
I'm Madness.
Yeah, I forgot that part. I tell you, it would be a lot more complicated if there is 3 words in that. It's only 2.
Good job that there's only three letters.
Oh God, I tell you, I'll be shit at like gender fluid society. Welcome to the Humour and Madness show. I'm Madness.
And I'm Humour. Hello and welcome to the Humour and Madness show. I'm Humour.
And I'm Madness.
Okay, so
That sounds aggressive. That sounds like a rapist.
And I'm rapist. I'm Humour, and I'm a rapist. And I'm Jimmy Savile.
I'm rapist.
Here comes this is the Humour and Jimmy Savile show, because we always fix
Uncle
it.
Jimmy. Uncle Jimmy never fixed anything. We're gonna cover everything apart from naked tits.
Yeah, but those are the best things to cover.
Yeah, no, you don't cover those.
Oh, you don't cover them? We keep them.
Yeah.
We keep them
right.
uncovered.
That's where you're going wrong.
Shit.
And we do stuff in different accents. And I'm shit with accents, so everything would sound probably German or Italian.
Or somewhat Arabic.
Yeah, or Arabic.
Here we go. Yeah, we just say that's all on the politics anyway. How do you compare to these data gathered from Gallup, Pew, and other polling sources on American adults? Yeah, but come on, dude. We all know Americans are fucking stupid. Presidential history.
That's the thing, like somebody said, I was watching this political show, and somebody said, he said, we always knew that 25% of Americans are whack jobs, but we didn't know that they will outvote us. Every whack job will go to vote, and more than half of us wouldn't bother. And that's why Trump got elected.
Pretty much. Most Americans, most Hillary supporters were extremely arrogant, and they thought, oh, she's just going to walk it.
The other thing is, I think the problem is Americans are not open to the idea to be ruled by a woman.
No, I honestly don't think that's the case. I think there were plenty of women that could have actually done what Trump did. But, there's a woman called Elizabeth Warren. If she ran, she would have had a much better chance against Trump than Hillary. Who else? There was. But what I'm saying is, this is actually a meaty conversation. We should get into this a little bit. Now, from my perspective, I think there were plenty of women that were able to get, to have a good chance at beating Donald Trump. Now, there was actually another guy, although I think
he grabbed them by the pussy before they
could run. He put them off.
Grabbed them by the pussy.
Now, I mean, number one.
That's what he did.
Number one, I have to say, people were fed up of the American system. Politicians. But anyway, as far as women in politics, no, I honestly don't think Americans are not. I think they're much more ready to have a woman than they suddenly did a black guy. So as far as that comparison is concerned, I think the harder one would have been, I would have said, a black guy getting into the White House than it would have been a woman. But which woman? I think it doesn't matter if Hillary was a man or a woman. She was one of the worst possible candidates to have ever gone up for this, especially up against Trump. Especially up against Trump in an environment where people hate politicians. And the one thing Trump wasn't was a politician. And that was his ace.
Well, he's more of a politician than a businessman. is more successful at that than his business.
Well, yeah, but
somebody told me if he had put the money that his dad gave him in a bank, he would be richer now.
God knows, yeah, maybe. I mean, I honestly, because I mean, he had. A lot of people say he had like just £1 million. That's what he claims, but he didn't. He had far more than that. He got inheritance after his dad died. But what I'm saying is, it doesn't matter whether he was operating like a politician or not. The fact is, he had the impression that he's not a politician, and that's what mattered. People saw him as not a politician, as not a career politician, someone who's looking to make money in this next 4 or 8 years, so that he's got a nest egg after he leaves the office. Technically, that's what he claimed. He's rich, so he doesn't need the money.
I know, but like the thing about Trump is, people who voted for him, I'm not saying they're racist. Most of them are. But some of them were like just sick of being politically correct, and they just thought, oh, somebody's like, say, grab them by the pussy and whatever. And just like, because I was watching this program about him, and what is his name did a very good documentary, Ed Balls. He went to America and he did a very good documentary on Trump supporters, his like base supporters. And what he uses is the language that people who watch wrestling love. It's like calling people, challenging people, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he uses in his politics and his Twitter. It's like a wrestler calling another wrestler.
Yeah.
And the rednecks love that macho stuff because they're all homosexuals.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's the homosexuality.
It is that, like, it's like that fantasy about being shagged by a bear. They can't admit to it, and they just go like, "I'm a wrestler." Yeah,
it's the redneck's fantasy of being fucked by a bear.
People. Yeah, it's a fight. It's a fight. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as far as the language, you're right. He uses. I mean, a lot of people were analyzing it before he got elected, and he uses like a fifth grade language, a language of a fifth grader or something, or fourth grader, some like immature adolescent style of language.
Yeah, a teenager.
A teenager's almost level of language, probably even less. But it's very plain language. It's very simplistic, and like you said, it's like a wrestler's language. It's very monosyllabic. It doesn't have a lot of big complicated words. He doesn't. No. He actually
good, not bad. Good.
Yeah.
This is good.
Yeah,
not bad.
I mean, Christ, he used what was it? But yeah, I mean, he uses language words that are not even in the English language. I mean, just completely just made up. Semi-made up words. Bigly, that's the one. I'm gonna make things bigly. I can make this happen bigly. I'm like, that's an adolescent language. That's not an adult's language, but it doesn't matter, because there were two camps of people. One camp of people who were extremely disappointed with Obama, who didn't. I mean, you got to realize, in order for Trump to have won, there would have had to have been, like, statistically, some Obama voters, people who voted for Obama, who voted for Trump.
No. That didn't happen.
No, it did.
What? No, it didn't. Do you know why? It's like there are some people who voted for Obama, voted for Trump.
Yeah.
But Hillary actually won about, like...
Oh, no. Hillary won the popular vote.
Yes,
but the thing is, that's not an accurate view.
Whatever, Dakota have like 4 guys and a goat.
Yeah.
Have the same electoral vote. California that have 40 million.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
That is not.
No, but dude,
that's a rigged system.
No, it's not a rigged system. That's actually how. No, that's how the system is been made fair. Because if it was up to the most amount of people, then pretty much every election in America would be called by New York and California, because they have the most amount of people, like forever. They've had the most amount of people in them. They're the largest states. I mean, California has the same GDP as most countries in the world. It could be its own country. It's massive, and it has
I know.
and it has
so called the billionaires there.
yeah, and it has a dense population. It has a lot of people in it. So you can't just have a system in which only California and New York pretty much dictate the vote all the time because they have the most amount of people. You have
doesn't make a difference.
No,
they still control the money. So
no.
At the end, whoever you elect, they're going to control him.
Yeah, but the thing is, at the end of the day, the system, that electoral system, was set up exactly for the little states, the state that only has 4 guys and a goat. Because
that is fair enough. That's like talking about almost like people talk about the Constitution, and the thing is, it's like talking about like the Quran and what God said.
No,
it's like those are like different times.
No,
those are
it's nothing to do with different times.
The right to bear arms. That's fine. That was the right to bear arm with you have to shove powder in.
Yeah.
And it takes you 10 minutes to shoot someone.
Yeah.
And it's probably miss him.
Yeah, but I mean that's
not like a machine gun that you can hit
not
70 people in 3 minutes.
Yeah, but that's a different argument. I'm talking about the electoral colleges. First of all, I don't think they were just written in the Constitution. They were set up because of the way that the United States has come together. Because you got to realize, United States, it's literally, that's what it is, the United States. These are different states who were effectively their own countries. They had their own governance and laws and everything to themselves.
Yeah.
They then decided to unite, and then they actually even had a civil war between themselves because the South wanted...
They want to let the slaves
Yeah, there was the slavery issues, and there was other issues as well, political issues. But generally, they all, after that civil war finished, they united. So it wasn't that it's like Europe. It's like, imagine if Europe becomes a united Europe. You can't just suddenly say England has to forget all about its history and has to forget all about its sovereignty, and then
I would rather they forget about their history.
Yeah, but what I mean is, you can't tell the French, you have to completely forget about your history and your past
and
now,
garlic
and everything, and you're going to have to adopt a new way of life of the united Europe, because that's what we're saying. So that's what happened. There was all these different states with different types of people, different numbers of people, but they were all given a path, a method, so that they could be equal to the big states like California, like New York, like Texas. So even the little guy effectively had a voice. That's what the Electoral College is about, is so that the little guy still has a voice in this conversation about their country.
That's fine and great if they have to take some kind of exam to say that they're mentally right, not just fuck their cousin and they got upset with it.
No, you can't say, I'm sorry, you're too stupid to vote in this election. You are exempt from your voting because you're too fucking dumb.
Yeah, because that's reality.
Yeah, but if that was the case, 90% of people wouldn't be able to vote.
Well, that's fine, because you look at it, it's like, you think about all the shit that is going to happen because of Brexit, and you're going to end up signing the same treaty, but without all the rights, but you have to pay all the shit.
Yeah, I mean,
because that's
maybe
the way
not.
that Brexit going.
No, I mean, the thing is, the Brexit thing, that's a different issue. For me, I would have voted Brexit in 2014 if they told me you had an option to vote, because it was about 2014 when I started reading up on the European Commission, not the European Union, not the single currency, the European Parliament and the European Commission. Now, at the time, back in the, I don't know when it was, the 70s or whenever Britain signed the agreement to be part of Europe, there was no European Commission, there was no European Parliament. The agreement between European countries was, we will agree.
It was just like an open market.
It was a trading bloc. Basically, we as European nations will agree to trade freely amongst each other, and then we will trade with the rest of the world as a big bloc, because the more of us there is, the more leverage we have in negotiations. We can say, you guys are going to be selling your goods to 10 million or 100 million people instead of 5 million people for like Sweden or Norway or whatever. So it was an advantage for small countries like Sweden, Norway, Belgium, who have got small populations, and they couldn't really trade, or they couldn't make deals in the world trade rules, because a country the size of India or China that has 1 billion people is going to outbid them, is going to outweigh, you know what I mean? They don't have that kind of leverage over a large country like that, or America that has 320 or 350 million people. So the whole idea...
Well, I'm sorry to cut you off there, but Sweden, I think they were like one of the last countries that joined the European Union. And they were doing fine in the trade because they had Volvo, they had, what was it, Scania for like trucks.
For the trucks and stuff.
They had the Saab airplanes.
Well, they
had IKEA.
Yeah, I mean, it could be Sweden. Sweden might have been an exception, and even Norway and Switzerland
Norway have oil.
Yeah, but they never joined.
Switzerland have the Jewish gold.
Yeah, but also
stole. All their watches are gold, and you think, where did they get all that gold from?
I know. I mean, they did some dodgy shit with the Nazis, I'm sure. But the thing is, Switzerland, believe it or not, and Norway are not part of the European Union.
I know that Switzerland is not part, because I went to Switzerland and I managed to smoke there. And I was like, it's like you can smoke in a train station.
Yeah,
I thought,
exactly.
God,
so Switzerland and Norway maybe perhaps foresaw that their sovereignty is more important than this union and this trading bloc. They stayed out of it. And in all honesty, if Britain had known, if the British people were told about how this European bloc is going to become a political entity with the inception of the European Commission and the European Parliament, then maybe Britain would have made a different decision too.
Britain now is like that spotty kid who hang around a bully and just hoping to get his leftovers.
Oh, you mean America?
America or the European Union or whatever, because they have no power.
No. I mean, the thing is, this is the reason why Europe, or the European Parliament and the Commission and all that, are being the way they are. Is they are doing this to punish Britain, so that they scare off Greece and Italy
and they will succeed.
Spain, because they would rather lose heavily and lose Britain in a bad way, and actually even damage Britain in the long run, than to risk having all these other countries go, oh, well, Britain did it, let's all start doing it. Because I guarantee you the others are looking at it. Talk to the Greeks. They hate the European Parliament and the Commission.
Yeah, because they can't retire at 50 anymore, and they have to pay taxes.
And they fucked them. They fucked them in...
No, they didn't fuck them. The Greeks are con artists.
Well, the Greeks, yes, sure. They didn't pay their fucking taxes either. I mean, I'm not saying they're innocent,
there was like talking about bus drivers like retiring on like 15 grand pension when they're like 50 or something. And doctors or like dentists saying that they only make 300 euros a month when they make like 3-4 grand, 5 grand. They don't pay taxes and get all their money from the European Union. And the European Union said, you've got to sort yourself out. Actually, Britain also agreed that Greece should sort itself out, because it's milking the European Union.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, Britain, it's in Britain's interest, as long as we're in Europe, to have these countries pay their bills, because they're obviously... I mean, the country that was most pissed, obviously, was Germany, because Germany is the lending... It's a lender nation, you know? They're the ones that actually... This was mostly for German and French banks, because they were the ones who loaned that kind of money to Greece. Also, what's his name? What are they called?
Goldman
Sachs. Yeah, Goldman Sachs. There's a whole documentary about how Goldman Sachs did some fucking dodgy fucking accounting to make sure Greece gets these loans that they want. They knew all about the shit that Greece was doing and the taxes and how Greece was overinflating its figures of income, its country's revenues and stuff. and they helped them. They absolutely helped them to do the most dodgiest shit, so that they get these loans, and they basically fucked over the Greek people. And believe me, Goldman Sachs made a fortune out of that, and they went off scot-free without a single fucking penalty or problem, and the Greek people paid for it. And I mean, I'm not saying the Greeks themselves are not to be blamed. I'm just saying that there were other factors in play, and many people had a lot of vested interest.
It's a game. You just play. You either win or lose, and you've got
but they're playing with people's lives.
The Greeks tried to rip off Europe, and then the German fucked them big time in the end.
Yeah,
and
pretty much
the same thing. You know, it's like, do you think if there was a chance that Britain can have that deal that Greece had, British people wouldn't love it if they can retire at 50. They would vote for, you know, they would send the Queen to Germany and say, like, kiss Merkel's hand because we can retire at 50.
Yeah.
And have lots of money. The main thing is people, and that's, I'm not criticizing the British people. It's a human nature that some people, if you're having a bad time and you see somebody's doing better than you, and you think, I don't mind, I'm suffering anyway, I'll just make his life miserable. And that's what happened. Because what really shocked me is Cornwall live on the European Union. 10 years ago, this was like nothing, like a couple of corner shops, and they didn't even have Marks and Spencer or Tesco or anything, right? And years of pumping money from the European Union made it to something very decent, looks great, a lot more jobs, high-tech jobs, good internet, and they still voted for, to get out of the European Union.
Is it really the European Union, or was it the British government that started investing in Cornwall?
No, the European Union. The British government never put any penny.
But then how do you know that directly that money is from the European Union?
Because it says EU funded. Every building, it says on it, EU funded. The charity that my girlfriend worked for is EU funded. Okay. EU and lottery funded, not the British government.
I mean, we'll have to. I mean, this thing is. See, the problem is right now we're crying over spilled milk, effectively. Whether you're pro or anti Brexit, the Brexit part is coming. What we should be doing is looking at what are we going to do about it.
Right. No, that's not the way to do it. The way to do it is you should plan ahead. That's what the Germans do. That's what Israel would have done.
Yeah, but I mean now
they plan 10 years before. We're gonna go and get out of that shitty union.
Yeah, but the thing is,
so what we do now is get prepared.
Of
we
course,
have to
of course.
make shit
look
again.
Of course,
but
the industry, thing is, what you don't realize,
stuff that you can sell. Not wait until the last minute.
I know,
and then you're out of the European Union.
But the thing is,
we're gonna have to start.
Yeah, but
like making cars again, because you don't own any of the cars that are in Britain now.
Look,
the Mini is German. The Rolls Royce is German.
Oh yeah. Number one, you're saying they should have planned 10 years ahead. The government doesn't want this. Not even the current government. That literally, Theresa May is a pro Euro person. She wasn't a Brexit person. She was a Remainer. So you've literally got what's his name? David Cameron.
Okay.
David Cameron. Hold on. Let me just get this out.
I agree with you. Like, most of the government don't want Brexit.
No, this was a bluff.
This was a bluff that they can get.
Yeah, this was a bluff for them to win the election. David Cameron's little bluff.
To take the UKIP vote.
Yeah, and he got fucked. He didn't realize people actually hate Europe.
Okay,
He didn't think this shit would go this way.
right. I agree with you. But like you look at people who wanted Brexit, their poster boy, Boris Johnson, right?
Well,
Now, if that's the
Nigel
future of
Farage,
Britain,
Boris
good
Johnson.
luck. First of all, he upset Iran, he upset Russia, and then he insulted the Saudis.
Yeah,
Who
dude.
the fuck are you going to do deals with after Brexit?
No.
Because
You're
India
not gonna do,
are not going to
do
buy
deals with
cows because
Iran,
they don't
are
eat
you?
meat there. And you're not going to sell tech stuff to China or cars to China because they can make them for a penny. So what is your market? Oh, there is 1 billion people in India. Yeah, but how many of that billion can afford to buy stuff from Britain? 10, 5, I don't know, 3 million?
I thought you
Let's
meant
say
10,
3
5
million.
people.
No, not 5 people, no. There are a lot of rich people in India. But let's say 3 million people can afford to buy. I'm struggling to find the
What
British
the
product.
thing that Britain produces?
What is it? Well, a Dyson. Right.
A Dyson.
Let's say.
Fucking spotted
let's
dick.
Say there is
Yorkshire
let's say
pudding.
There is 3 million people in India can afford to buy a Dyson, right? Now in Germany, there is 30 or 40 million people who can buy 2 Dysons.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you don't sell to Germany. It's not like we're going to stop selling to these people. We just simply have to make a deal.
I know, but once you put tax on it,
yeah, so what?
the Germans will say, no, we'll buy local.
Yeah, but the
you're
Germans
actually
yeah, but the Germans also
encouraging
sell to
the
this
Europeans
country.
not to buy British stuff because you wanted to go out.
No, but the thing is, first of all, we can set those tariffs and we can arrange deals with those tariffs. Second of all, the Germans also want to sell their BMWs and their Mercedes to this country. They still want us to buy their minis. So they have to. We have to come to an arrangement about.
You know
tariffs.
what they're gonna do? They're gonna just take the mini factory and reassemble it in like Poland, and take all the British workers who are like really skilled, and give them shitload of money and make them live in Poland, and leave it as a car park.
I'm talking about them selling to Britain. We buy those cars from Germany too. Britain
Yes, but
buys a lot of those Mercs
I know,
and BMWs
but
and Mercedes. And
after Brexit, we can't even. Some people are worried about buying foods.
no, this is the scaremongering. This is bullshit
just like
scaremongering.
rocket. The wages are not going up.
No. This is bullshit
The rents are-
scaremongering. It's
like-
not going to be as bad as people.
This country is going into shit.
Now, this is the
you're
problem.
not going to afford to buy a German car.
No.
You're lucky you can afford to buy a Lada.
No, trust me.
Or like
there'll still
whatever
be
car,
plenty
whatever
of
Indian
rich
car
people
they make.
that'll be buying BMWs and Mercedes in this country.
Yeah, second hand or
No.
seventh hand.
There'll be
scrapyard.
plenty of them. There'll be plenty of rich people. It's just that
It's
look. I'm not gonna bullshit with you. I will say honestly, there will be a turbulent period.
yeah, I
Because
know, but
any
what good is it
maneuver
for me
as big as this,
if Britain would be the superpower in 20 years, I don't have kids. And even if I had, fuck them. I want to live now. I want something good now.
You're the McDonald's generation.
If somebody tells you, would you rather have 20 grand today or 10 million in 20 years?
well, in all honesty, 10 million in 20 years, I would wait for the 10 million because the 10 million in 20 years would go a hell of a long way than 20 grand now. That's a big
But just
thing.
remember, right? In the last 10 years, a lot of people got that millionaire status just by owning a house, right? So you don't know what that 10 million will get you in 20 years. It might be a pack of cigarettes.
Well,
Have you seen what happened in Venezuela?
I still think somehow 10 million pounds, even in 20 years, it's still gonna be worth a little bit more than Venezuela's. Come on,
Not
man.
when the North starts starving and they come, winter's coming, and they come to the South and just like
And the
go to
fucking
the
White
fridges and
Walkers
empty them.
in their kilts come to the South.
I tell
They
you,
come
know,
to
so
take
you think about
Winterfeld.
it, because that there is a possibility of that. You think about the French Revolution and chopped a lot of rich people's heads, because that's what hunger does to you.
Yeah. Well,
So the first step is voted Brexit. Now, when they're not going to get the Brexit that they want, and they're going to be starving and out of a job because they just got fired by their German boss, they will get angry. And I tell you,
well, I mean,
I'm not waiting for. That's why I'm like most southern parts
it's gonna take them
of
a while to
Britain.
get there.
I'm just on a boat and just go to France or whatever, or some
You're not gonna,
islands.
dude. You're not gonna be able to. You're at the Atlantic end. You're gonna end up in New York. Is the best fucking chance on your
No,
island.
there is there is a couple of islands here. There's like, I don't know, it's full of inbreds, so they would welcome new genes to their like gene pool, like Isle of Scilly and whatever.